Flip side, talking about the team they'll face on Thursday, the Vikings. Highly disappointing for a lot of their fans this year so far at 5-7. Financially, have a lot of things to deal with because they spent in the offseason giving out short-term contracts to fill those holes. And yet all the heat still seems to be on Kirk Cousins, Jason, but they've got some ugly contracts here. We'll bring those up and show it to our viewers, where they focused a lot, of course, on defense as well. How do we assess the Vikings if things continue to go in a downward trajectory?
Well, ownership's going to have to take a step back, and Mike Zimmer's job is in hot water, and I don't think Mike Zimmer's going to survive. But you know, does Rick Spielman, the GM, as well, because this franchise was at an inflection point a couple of years ago where they weren't who they thought they were going to be. They weren't the Super Bowl contenders they thought they'd be when they put all this money originally into Kirk Cousins in the first wave of huge contracts. And then they doubled down. And instead of moving on from Cousins and maybe moving on from Cook and getting younger and rebuilding, they threw more money at everybody, plus added some of the contracts you've seen there, and, you know, spent to keep Barr and to bring in Michael Pierce as a big-time run-stuffing free agent. And they really kind of spent a lot of money on Zimmer's side of the ball, on defense as well, and it hasn't paid off. They've been treading water at best for a couple of years now, and things are certainly coming to a head again. And, you know, look, the Wilfs spent a lot of money. They hosted a Super Bowl. The stadium got built, and they were a top 5 spending team for a 4 or 5 year period of time. It hasn't produced playoff victories. The cap is a real thing for everybody, although you can mitigate it by going over it. And yes, this looks like a team that will be headed in a different direction, probably both financially from a free agent standpoint and how much spending they do in the near term, and then also, can they clear any of these contracts off the books? The guaranteed money is expiring on some of them. I think you'll see a bloodletting in the offseason. But certainly a recalibration is in order for a Vikings team that didn't get where they wanted to go.
Quickly, before I let you go, is Dalvin Cook in that conversation, got that extension back in 2020?
I mean, I don't know how you're moving on. I mean, he's been injured, you know what I mean? Like, people don't really trade for running backs, especially running backs with a significant injury history. They kind of made their bed. There's probably one more year of those two together. But when you look at the numbers, you got it right there. Madison has been really productive, and you have to have concerns about Dalvin Cook and the shoulder as well. But again, that's well-known league-wide. And so doesn't matter what you're paying him. I don't think there's a whole lot of teams, or if any, lining up to trade for Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook, when healthy, a top 3 running back, but you can say that about all the top 3 running backs with McCaffrey and Henry, and the list goes on and on with that. Jason, certainly appreciate it as always. By the way, Minnesota just given a 16.9% chance to make the wild card from our guys at Sportsline. I want to tell you about the All Things Covered podcast. Well, it's been probably tough for Patrick Peterson this season for Minnesota at 5-7. 2-time Super Bowl champ Brian McFadden and the other co-hosts download and follow the All Things Covered podcast.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.